Labor Day hurricane in the Florida Keys is one of only 3 Category 5 hurricanes to make landfall in the United States.
After it left the Bahamas, moving to the west, people thought it was going to stay south of the Keys, but suddenly it turned to the right and blew up into this incredible storm.
The hurricane crashes into the Keys as a Category 5, with winds gusting over 200 miles per hour. It's the most intense U.S. hurricane on record.
The number 892 millibars is the lowest pressure ever recorded on land from a hurricane.
More than 400 people are killed by the hurricane, including 259 World War I veterans who've been living and working on the Keys, building the overseas highway. A train sent to rescue them arrives too late and is swept off the tracks by the massive storm surge.
Living in a tropical paradise on an island, even if it's connected to the state of Florida, has its wonderful, glorious benefits, but brings forth unique challenges for survival and recovery.
August 17th, 1969, with winds up to 175 miles per hour, Hurricane Camille becomes only the second Cat 5 to ever make landfall in the U.S.
One thing that people don't realize about Camille is you back up 3 or 4 days, it's just a tropical storm.
Hurricane Camille rapidly intensified over the Gulf of Mexico, and it moved almost due north from the center Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf areas of Mississippi, and surrounding areas were also hit very hard.
Camille's storm surge is brutal, reaching up to 24 feet.
Perhaps the most memorable aspect of it was the storm surge, which washed away beachfront property, lives were lost, and that storm surge, the Gulf of Mexico, went inland for several miles.
Camille's effects reach far beyond the Gulf Coast.
So not only is the legacy of Camille along the Gulf Coast, there was also a significant loss of life with Camille as it moved inland. It weakened in terms of wind speed, but carried with it a lot of rain and flooding into Virginia, where we know many people lost their life.
Cat 5 Camille kills over 250 people and causes $1.4 billion in damage, $9 billion in today's money.
I think that any Category 5 hurricane making landfall at that intensity makes this list. And Camille of 1969 should be on that list no matter what because of the immense damage and the huge death toll.
The first tropical storm of the season forms in mid-August 1992, but there's no hint of what Hurricane Andrew will become.
5 days before Andrew hit, it was a weak system that nobody was paying much attention to out in the Atlantic.
Wind shear almost tore the tropical storm to shreds, and we might never have heard from it again, but it just barely held on and then got caught underneath a high-pressure ridge that pushed it toward the United States.
Just before it hits the Bahamas, Andrew explodes, rapidly intensifying into a Cat 5.
Rapid intensification of a hurricane is when it jumps multiple categories in a day. And it's worst when it happens to a hurricane close to shore.
After decimating the islands, Andrew briefly drops to a Cat 4. But it re-intensifies and hits South Florida on August 24th as a Cat 5 with shocking force. Winds gust over 175 miles per hour. Andrew is only the third Cat 5 to make landfall in the U.S.
Nobody believed or understood or conceived what kind of a hurricane it was going to be.
Fortunately, Andrew narrowly misses South Florida's major population centers.
It spared Fort Lauderdale, it spared downtown Miami, and hit south of Miami as a relatively small, compact, but fierce Category 5 hurricane.
40 miles south of Miami, the city of Homestead is obliterated.
The damage was so complete over this vast area, about 20 miles across, it was just like a 20-mile wide tornado.
We saw nearly complete devastation of neighborhoods due to wind damage, and some of those neighborhoods never came back.
The hurricane kills 26 people in the U.S. and Bahamas and causes almost $27 billion worth of damage. At the time, it's the costliest in U.S. history.
Andrew, in '92, was a serious wake-up call, a grim reminder of how vulnerable South Florida is